Hello, 7th graders. Your video that we're going to cover tomorrow in class will be section 2.3 out of the book, which is solving one-step equations. So to be able to do one-step equations, you need to understand what an inverse operation is. We have kind of talked about these a little bit before. Inverse operations are operations that undo each other. So addition and subtraction, or multiplication and division. If you add 3 and subtract 3, you're undoing it and you're back to 0. Okay, that's what we mean by that. So addition, we have 4 different properties that we're going to cover today, 4 different types of problems. So we're going to do the addition property of equality first. And that just says that if you add the same number to both sides of an equation, the two sides are still equal. So when I move things from one side to the other side to solve it, it's not changing the answer. That's what that says. So here is my example. If I have x minus 34 equals 46, to be able to solve this equation, I have to get the x by itself, which means I have to get rid of this minus 34. Okay, what is the opposite of minus? It is add. So I'm going to add 34 because that will cancel that out. But if I do it to the left side, I have to also come over to the right side and do the exact same thing. So I'm going to end up with x equals 80 for my answer. And you can check every single one of these by plugging your answer back in for x and seeing if it works. Does 80, if I plug it in right here, does 80 minus 34 give you 46? Yes, it does, so it checked. So that's the addition one, addition property of equality. Then you're also going to have the subtraction property of equality, and that's very similar. If you subtract the same number from both sides of an equation, the two sides are still going to be equal. So we have to do the same thing to both sides of the equation all the time if I'm moving things back and forth. I can't just do it to one side. So if I start with x plus 2 equals 42, to get rid of that, it says plus right now, so I have to undo that. The only way to undo it is to subtract 22. So x equals 20. And again, if I want to check it, plug your answer in. Is 20 plus 22 42? Yes, it worked. So these are all just one-steppers today. So that's addition and subtraction. And we'll move on to multiplication. The multiplication property of equality, if you multiply both sides of an equation by the same number, the two sides will still be equal. Same concept again. If I do the same thing to both sides of the equation, I'm not changing the answer. I will still get the same answer. So these ones are going to look a little different. X divided by 4 equals 8. So right now the x is being divided by 4, so the only way to undo that is to multiply by 4. And if I do it to that side, I have to come over here and do it to this side. So x is going to equal 32. And if I plug that number back in and see if it works, is 32 divided by 4 8? Yes, it is, so it works. So that's the multiplication property of equality, and then we have one more, which is the division property of equality. So if you divide both sides of an equation by the same number, the two sides will still be equal. So these are going to look a little different again. So if I have 7x equals 42, right now it says 7 times x, so the only way to undo that, the opposite, would be to divide by 7. And again, if I do it on the left, I have to do it on the right. So x is going to equal 6. And I can check it to see if it works. If I plug the 6 in, does 7 times 6 equal 42? Yes, it does, so it worked. So 4 different types of problems for tomorrow. Multiplication, division, subtraction, and addition. All 4 of those we're going to be doing tomorrow. So then I have a couple of examples I want you to bring with you. I want you to have them done for class tomorrow. So the first one we're going to do is let's do negative 6y equals 12. So you're going to solve for y. And then let's do y divided by 6 equals 8. Let's do negative 8 though. So there's 2. There's 1 right here, 2 right here. Then we'll do y minus 8 equals 42. And then let's do y plus 8 equals 34. So these 4 questions right here, I want you to bring with you tomorrow. Have them done, and we'll talk about them in class. Have a good night.